Well, I'm pretty excited to make this video because, hey, Elementor listened to your requests and they added the Mega Menu widget in the new update that came out in 3.12. And in this video, I'm going to take you through step by step on how you can create a Mega Menu using Elementor and Elementor Pro. Let's get started. Before we actually get started, we are going to be transforming our website header from this sticky header that I already created using Elementor Pro. And now we are going to transform it into this header, which is not a sticky header, but we are going to add a mega menu to this header. Our mega menu will be responsive on all devices, and we will be able to add any kind of widget, section, or a template within our mega menu. So let's get started. To get started, we are going to go straight back into our dashboard, and first of all, we'll have to check the plugins area and make sure that we have Elementor and Elementor Pro. So we have Elementor and Elementor Pro, and make sure that you have version 3.12 and above. So at the moment I have version 3.12.3. And then later we are going to have to come here to Elementor settings and come to features and make sure that you enable the nested elements and the menu option. And by enabling, I mean you have to make it active. Just keep in mind that the mega menu requires you to have the nested elements active as well. So make sure those are active and then scroll down below here and save changes. Once that is done, we are going to now go to our Elementor page builder under the templates, theme builder, and this is where we are able to make changes to our header. So I'm going to come over here and open up my header and I'm going to say edit. This will take me into the header editor. Great. Now what I have to do is first of all to change the background color. So I'm going to come over here, background color, put our secondary color, and then we don't want to enable the transparency features. So we don't want any transparency and scrolling effects, and as well we don't want it to be sticky. So under advanced motion effects, we don't want it to be sticky. Now, the major thing that you have to note in this video is that now inside the Elementor editor, you have two widgets for the menu. So when I come over here to menu, you realize that we have the WordPress menu and we have the menu. So a menu widget. But if you actually just say you search for Mega, you realize that it shows up as the menu. Now, this is the new widget that we need in this case, contrary to the one that we have been using, which is called the WordPress menu at the moment. I don't know why they call it the WordPress menu, but it's a menu widget. They would have just said menu and mega menu. Now we are going to be replacing this menu with this mega menu widget. So I'm going to first of all come here to my header and I'll delete that. Now I'm going to add another container inside the header. So I have two containers. So I'll just duplicate this container and then I'll remove this button. So now I'm going to come here to my widgets. I look up for my mega menu widget. Drop it over there. That's all. We can make each of these items have a mega menu as a drop down. So like for example, now when you come over here on the layout, you see that we can add as many items as possible. Initially, using the WordPress menu, we could just have to select the menus that we have already created under the appearance section. But now we can just add our custom items right over here in the menu items area. And for example, I can name this as home. I can point it to the home page. That's good. Let me see which other pages: about, services, case study, blog. So about, point it to the about page, and then we have services. I'll just add a hashtag over there on the services page. Now I'm going to add another page, case studies. I'll add another item, blog. Now I can link to the blog archive page because we have that already created. And lastly, our contact page. So we link up to our contact page. Alternatively, you can just paste a URL to any section of your website or outside your website by using the link option right over here. Now we want to add a mega menu to the services. I'll first of all make changes to this. We want this container to take up 20%, and our call to action button will take up a 30, and that's it. I'll go ahead and just add some basic styling for our menu items. So menu item color is going to be white, on hover will be a white, and active will as well be a white. Good. Now, how do we add a mega menu to this menu item here called services? So I'm going to select our mega menu widget, come back here to content, come to the services section, in this case menu item, and we are going to say drop down content. Check. Now as you see, we have a this is like a chevron icon or a chevron icon. How do they call it? So we get this icon over here. Now you see here, before you click, you realize we have the option to add a container or import from a template. But when I click over here, you realize that we now have a container where we can simply drag elements to. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my elements in here. But if you don't know how you do that, by simply adding and selecting how many columns you would want to have in your mega menu. For instance, in this case, I want 2 of them, and here you can simply go ahead and grab your elements. For example, a title, you can add an icon box, you can add a map, you can add an image, you can go ahead and pull up literally any kind of widget from the widgets area in Elementor. Now I'm going to delete these widgets so that I can simply add content that I want to appear in my mega menu. I'll add my first widget, which is going to be a services widget, and then I'll add an icon box widget. And lastly, we are going to add a button. All these are in a container of their own. And then in the other container, because we have 2 containers in our mega menu, we are also going to add a title, which is going to be for showcasing our case studies. Now we have our widgets right within our mega menu. Now the next thing we are going to do is to style up how our mega menu is going to look like in this case. So when now someone clicks on this icon, even in the first place for a mega menu, why should someone have to click first? But we're going to look into how we can disable that later on in the video. Now when I click on that icon, the mega menu shows up, but there is no distinction between the mega menu and other pages or other page elements. So what I'm going to do is now to add a little bit of styling, to give it some facelift. Now when you look over here in the navigator, you see that we have the first item, the second item. By the way, you can rename these items and say maybe this is the home, this is the about, the blog, and lastly the contact. Now for the services item, when you select it over here, we can choose whether to use the box layout or to use the full width layout. I'll update for now, and then we have a look at the preview. This is the box layout. It looks like it is even taking over the whole width of the page, but we want to make a distinction between the mega menu and the page elements. To do that, we are going to come back here to our header. We will select our services menu item. We are going to reduce the width of our mega menu box. So for example, here we are going to make it, let me say 750. Let's update. Then let's look at the preview, how this looks like. Hover over our mega menu item, services, and that's how it looks like. But it looks like it takes over the whole width of the section, which is something I don't want. So in this case, I'm going to go back. I'll select the content width as full width, and I'll make the width to be only 60%. Okay, and I want to justify the content to be in the center and align items to be in the center as well. Under advanced, I want to align self to center so that this whole mega menu drop down is aligned in the center of the page. So I'll update for now. Come back here to our preview. Now on hover, you see that our mega menu is now taking only 60% of the page width. And now when I hover out the mega menu, you see it disappears. This is what we wanted to actually achieve. So let's now go and add some styling to our mega menu drop down. Back here to our header with our services container selected or item selected. I'll come here to style. I'll set the background as a white color, and then I'll come down below here to the border. We're going to add a border and the border radius. So border type is going to be a solid and it's going to be 3 pixels, and we want this to have a border color of this color code, and we want to have it having a rounded radius, so we'll make it like a 30 or a 35. Now we're going to add some padding to the elements within here. So I'll come here to advanced and I will add a padding at the top and bottom of 40 pixels, 40, and a 40 at the bottom. How about in the sides? Yes and no. How about if I make it a 40 as well and a 40 on the left? Yeah, looks much better. And I would also like to add some padding right over here on the inner container. Select the inner container, come to advanced and link, but on the right hand side we are going to add a padding of 20%. Sorry, 20 pixels in this case. I'll update, come back here to our preview. Well, it looks much better, and you can have a distinction between the page elements and the mega menu itself. Now, when you look keenly on the mega menu on drop down, you realize that it's floating on other page elements like the site logo, and it's also floating into the call to action button here. So we would want to push it a little bit down. So we will come back over here and select our mega menu widget, which is this here. Select it and then come here to style. And there is an option called distance from content. This is on the mega menu widget itself. So I'm going to come over here and set it to be maybe a 60. That's too much. Let me make it to be a 30. So it moves right outside the header, so it can stand on its own. I'll update, come back here. Let's preview. Now on hover of our services menu item, voila, our mega menu shows up. Okay, now I'm going to come here to one of the pages or the live pages. I'll open up the home page. Okay, now I'm going to come down below here, hover over our services item, and you see that our mega menu shows up. Now, even when I click on any of these items, they'll take me straight to that page section which is actually linked to from the mega menu. So for instance, if I click on this blog, it should be able to take me straight to that blog post on the website, just like you see right now. As well, if I come back here to the mega menu and click, for example, on the service called public relations, it should take me to the section that you actually set it up to take your website visitors on the website. And that can be done right inside the mega menu. So for example, when I select this icon box and you see here on the link option, that is where I was able to link to the blog. But this link can be linking to anywhere else on the website or outside your website. Now, the other settings that I wanted us to look into for the mega menu are: one, when you select the mega menu widget and come over here to content, down below here there is where you can choose whether to have the mega menu content set to full width or to fit to the content. That will only fit the mega menu to the width of the mega menu in your header. That is not what I wanted. I wanted to keep it as a full width mega menu, and then I had to set the width of the services mega menu here in the container width section. So when I go back here and select my mega menu item, we can set to have the item layout as a drop down or horizontal. So if I set it to be drop down, that's how it will look like. Yeah, but in this case we wanted to have a horizontal menu, and we only enabled one item to be the mega menu, or to have a mega menu in our header. You can set the item position, which is in this case the menu, whether on the right hand side, left, or have it stretch. I'll leave it to be centered. Now we can as well choose the drop down indicator. This is the drop down indicator. In this case, you can choose any other item in the library. So in this case, I will choose this item. On active, we'll leave it as it is. I failed to find out an item in the styles where I could add more distance between the word and the icon that has been added. If you are able to see that when you're watching this video, please let me know. Or if you know where I can adjust that right within Elementor, let me know down in the comments of this video. Once you are done with that, we have the drop down effect. As you can see over here, our mega menu actually doesn't have any transition or animation or whatever, and that can be added right under this section. First, you have to choose how do you want your mega menu to open, on click or on hover. Currently it is on hover, and that is the main reason why you would want to have a mega menu, so that it appears on hover. On click, then it will have to require user interaction, which is not something you would want to have. Then the animation, we can add a fade-in animation, and here we can set the duration. So for now, I'm going to update so that you can see how this fade-in looks like on hover. I'll come here to, let me just come here to one of the pages that have been updated. I'll reload. Come over here and hover over our mega menu. You see that transition, how it comes in. Oh, beautiful. I like this. Now to the menu toggle. The menu toggle is what will actually appear once someone is viewing your mega menu on a responsive device. So this is where you have to set up whether you want to align it to the end, center, or right hand side. And here we can choose an icon of our menu toggle, which is something you can look up over here in the icon library, or you can upload a custom icon. Responsive settings, where should the breakpoint start from? By default, it is set to be on the tablet, but you can set that to be on the mobile. Now let's go back here to the desktop device. Now under style, we can set the distance between items. Remember, we are still having the mega menu widget selected. So we can set the distance between the items or distance from the content like I had already set or shown you in this video. But let me just take you to the most important sections of this mega menu widget. Now, if you want to set the size of your toggle, the menu toggle, you can set it up from here. You can say, I want it to be 30 pixels in size. I want it to be a white element. Even on hover, you can change the colors just like we have been doing earlier on in Elementor. In case you want to set up your content style and a drop-down menu styles, of course, you can go ahead and do them right over there. Now let's go and look into the responsive settings of our mega menu on the mobile device. So I'll select the mobile device. Now when I click right over here on our toggle, you see that we have our menu items show up over here, and as well our mega menu on the services menu item. But first, we are going to first of all set the background type and all that stuff. So in this case, I'm going to set text color is going to be white. Background color is, we don't want to have a border type. We don't want anything like that. But now when someone clicks right over here on the services item, our mega menu should be able to show up just like you see here. Now the inner items in the mega menu can be set up using the responsive settings like earlier in Elementor. But the most important thing now to know is how do you style that this container that is holding the mega menu items is not extending right to the border or to the edges of your screen on the mobile device. With our services item selected in the mega menu, so I'll have it selected here. Under the mobile device, you see we have the option to set how wide and how big that can be. So I'll make that to be in percentages, and I'm going to reduce it. You see, I'll make it like an 80. And obviously you can as well decide to display some items in your mega menu on the mobile device. So for example, if you don't want to show everything here, you can go ahead and say, let me say, select this item, come to advanced, come to responsive, and say hide on mobile, and then hide on the tablet as well. Now that will actually save up your website visitor from having to scroll way down just simply to access the other menu items. What I'll do now is to have our services item selected, and we are going to come here to the advanced feature and link the margins, and at the top we're going to add a 20. So we have, I think a 10 would actually look much better. So we have that distance from the item itself to where the mega menu actually starts to display, and as well at the bottom. So something like that. I would not really recommend to have this mega menu on the mobile device, but if you really want to display this mega menu on the mobile device, this is what you have to do. If you decide not to use this mega menu on a mobile device, you could have an alternative whereby you create a menu, a specific menu under the appearances section in WordPress, and then come over here, grab your menu item, or what they call the WordPress menu item here, WordPress menu, add it inside your mega menu, and this should have all the items that are supposed to fall under the services mega menu option. And then here you'll have to select that widget, and obviously you're going to make it vertical. Before you actually make it vertical, make sure that you select the right menu, which is actually having the services items like the way you want to display them right over here in the mega menu. And then the breakpoint, you are going to select the breakpoint and say none. That means that this services menu will not having a breakpoint within the mobile device. Now, you are going to make sure that you hide this menu on the desktop device. So what I'm going to do is select the menu, come to advanced, come to responsive, and then hide this on the desktop so it only appears on the mobile device right over here. And then you can hide all the other items and only leave them to display on the desktop devices. I hope that actually makes sense. So you can go ahead, advanced, responsive, hide on mobile, hide on tablet. Same for the icon boxes, responsive, hide on mobile, hide on tablet. Same for the button. If you want to hide it, I'll leave it in this case. And then for the case studies part, I would leave it in this case as well. So for our menu, we want it to appear. So let me make sure that is not hidden. Good. Now I'll update in this case, and we are going to come here to our website, and we want to look at this website in a mobile device to see how it looks like. This is a mobile responsive add-on that I'm using to display this, so I can have, an impression of how my mega menu would look like on certain devices. So here it looks nice and neat, but let me go and look at this mega menu on the mobile devices. So forget about this because it's not responsive. We're only going to concentrate on the header. And now when I click over here on the hamburger icon, I'm going to come here to our services. Now here we are able to see only the items that we enable to display on the mobile devices. And in this case, we left our navigation to only display on the mobile device, and we hid the other items in the mega menu. We left our button, and then we left this other section. So you see how this would actually give your website visitor a better experience while navigating your website than having all the other menu or mega menu items showing on that mobile device. Now, the other thing I want to bring to your attention is that mega menus, especially in this kind of format, they are not good for SEO because the search engine will not pick this up as a website navigation, but rather will see it as simple items on the website. And yet you want that this can be picked up by the web crawlers to understand the structure of your website. Now, there is a simple trick to use. What I do is to pull up my WordPress menu, and I'm going to add it here in my navigation. So I'm going to just drag it, add it over here. But since we are using containers, now I'm going to change the direction of this container to be in a column. And now you see that we have this navigation. I am going to, make the styling. Anyway, we're not even going to display it on our website, but just for us to see how it looks like. So the padding and everything. Now, this is the actual navigation of our website where we have a home, about, services, case studies, blog, and contact pages. Now, this is what the search engine would use to understand the structure of your website. And you can have this menu created under the appearance section in WordPress. If you don't know how to do that, just come over here to the dashboard and go straight to menus. And right here under menus, then you are able to add a new menu and add your menu items, and that's all. In here, you are able to select the menu that you want to point to. So when I select this WordPress menu widget under content, I have the option to select which menu to point to right over here. So this is the main menu or the main navigation for our website. But in our case, we don't want to display this menu to our website visitors. We want it only display and communicate to the search engine. So what we are going to do in this case is to come here to the advanced option, down here to the responsive mode, and hide this menu from our website visitors. But of course, the search engine will be able to crawl this navigation on our website. So now when I update, I'll go to the home page. You see, we don't have that navigation displaying anywhere on our website, but it is actually there. One last thing I want to mention is that you can enable a mega menu on any of the items inside your mega menu widget. So for example, this is our mega menu widget, and now we only enable a mega menu to our services. We can duplicate and have this services widget twice, and then we can rename it anything else. So in this case, I can say products. And for our products, we can say we want to enable the mega menu. And obviously, once we enable that mega menu, then we are able to have our mega menu items, or you are able to add your mega menu items to your other item in your menu or navigation. So in this case, when I update, I'll come to my website. You will see that now I have a new menu item called product. And on hover, you see that we have items showing up in that mega menu. These can be products inside your mega menu that you are selling to your website visitors. Delete it. I'll update my navigation. And finally, I'll say congratulations on creating your mega menu using the new Elementor Mega Menu widget. But before we close up the video, I want to mention that, hey, you have to come back here to the publish settings, display elements, and make sure that you add the condition to display this header on the entire website. And that's it all for now. Anyway, if you're new to this channel, thank you so much for watching. My name is Hamza, your host as usual. If you're new to Elementor or you want to take your website design skill set to the next level using the Elementor Page Builder, I invite you to check out my Elementor Pro Bootcamp course, which is linked right down in the description or in the pinned comment of this video. And if you don't have Elementor Pro, kindly use my affiliate link right down in the description of this video so you are able to check out and test out the new mega menu feature that came in Elementor. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video now answers your questions, if you had any, on how to create a mega menu using Elementor and Elementor Pro, as well as if you wanted to basically understand how this whole thing works. How can you create a mega menu using Elementor without actually using any third-party add-ons? Have a good time and see you in the next one.